When you sit down to pay your bills at the beginning of the month, most people are going to feel like there's no future in sight. When you get paid, your bank account seems like it goes up for a brief moment, and it gives you a brief glimmer of hope. But then those bills get paid, and then you're left with what feels like absolutely nothing. And then you're told that you have to borrow money so that you can go buy a car. You hear people tell you that if you go buy a cheap beater for a commuter car, then it's going to be unreliable. It's always going to be broken down. And in the long run, it's going to end up costing you more money. Those same people, they're going to tell you that you're going to have to go spend a minimum of $10,000 just so that you can get a reliable car. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name is Chad. Here's the thing about that. Those people that are telling you that, they're not actually looking out for your best interest. They're more concerned about how they might look to strangers in that beater commuter car than they are their own financial future. These are the same people that are going to confidently give you advice on, like, financial advice, like investing in the stock market is a waste of time. You're going to lose money if you do that. And then these same people, they're going to tell you that you'll never be able to afford to buy your own house, or even if you do buy your own house, you're never actually going to own it. They're going to tell you that you need to find a safe, stable job. And for most people, this advice, it sounds like gospel because it sounds safe and it actually it sounds easy. But let me ask you something. Is living paycheck to paycheck, is that easy? When you see your bank account constantly dwindling to what feels like nothing, is that easy? What about going to a job every single day that you hate just so that you can survive? Is that easy? You know, what happens when an emergency hits and you don't have the money, you don't have the finances to do anything about it? How about that? Is that easy? So instead of having some sort of an emergency fund, you go ahead and you put that money on that emergency on a credit card. How about paying back that credit card? Is that easy? So then what if one of your loved ones, a parent, your child, or a brother or somebody, what if one of those people, somebody that you love and care about, needs financial assistance and you don't have the means or the money to help them? Is watching them suffer, is that easy? You know, what I just described is the quiet desperation of most people. And it's quiet because on the surface, these people, they're going to tell you that everything's fine. They're fine. Their life is fine. Everything's good. You know, they'll smile, they'll laugh, they'll tell you that everything's going great, and in that same breath that they're telling you that everything's going great or they're making it, they're going to start complaining about their situation or their circumstances. You know, understand that this is average. This is how most people are, and this is how average people live. And I know that most of you guys can relate. You know, it's almost like you're stuck in a hamster wheel, just running faster and faster and faster, and you're waiting for that hamster wheel to go so fast that you're stuck in. You're just waiting for it to throw you out. You're waiting for it to throw you into something better. And I know this. I can relate because I've been there. I've been broke. I've been average, but I refuse to stay there. And nothing about me, nothing about my life is average. And the truth is you can actually get out of there too. You don't have to stay average. You know, when you're stuck in this cycle, it seems like it's impossible to find your way out. But let me ask you something, and that's, have you ever stopped to ask somebody who is successful? Have you ever stopped and asked a successful person what it took or what they did to get to where they are? You know, when I was a service plumber, I worked in an extremely affluent area of Scottsdale, Arizona, called Troon. And back then, you know, this was early 2000s, 2000, I don't know, 3, 4, whatever, 7, early 2000s anyway. But every single house that I worked on in that area was worth several $1 million. And this is of the early 2000s money. And I made it a habit every time I went there to work to ask my customers what it was that they did for a living. But what I ended up finding out is every single one of them, they were eager to share their story. They weren't just proud. They were happy to share the story of their success and what it actually took to get there. But by doing that, it taught me something, and it taught me how to think outside of the box. Here I am, just a lowly plumber. I made fantastic money. Don't get me wrong. I did extremely well, but it taught me that there was more. There was more to the story, and there was a way out. There was a way for me to get ahead in life. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it made me realize the path that I was on did not have to be the path that I stayed on. So like I said, at the time, as a plumber, I was making really good money. I was in the six-figure range, but it was nowhere near the wealth that these people had. It was absolutely nowhere near it. And in the amount of labor that I was putting in, the amount of hours that I had to work, it wasn't the hours that these guys were working. But something else that it taught me was they didn't get there by living an average life. They didn't let the fear of risk and other people's opinions keep them stuck in quiet desperation. They invested in themselves. They took chances and risks, and most importantly, they didn't settle for being average. What keeps most people trapped is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgments, and fear of stepping outside of your comfort zone. I believe that fear is it's the root of quiet desperation. It's what makes you think or say that this is fine, even though deep down inside, it's not. So if I'm being real, the truth is that fear, it's a liar, because fear is going to convince you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, and that you don't have what it takes. But the truth is fear is only as powerful as you allow it to be. Every single person that you admire, every single successful person that you look up to, they did not face fear. They still faced fear, but instead of letting it stop them, they used it for fuel. Hello. So you see, fear is a signal. It's a sign that you're stepping into something bigger. It's a sign that you're going to grow. And if you're not feeling fear, then I don't believe that you're pushing yourself hard enough. I don't believe that you're pushing yourself far enough. So instead of running from it, lean into that shit and use it as a tool to push you forward. Because in the moment, living a life of quiet desperation, it might feel safe or it might feel comfortable, but that's not living. But another reason why people stay stuck is because they lack vision. If you don't know where you're going, then how can you ever expect to get there? Most people, they don't even realize what they actually want out of life. They're too busy surviving to even begin to dream or to think about living. But here's the thing about that is if you don't define your vision, then somebody else is going to define it for you. Your employer, society, the people that are around you, they're all going to be the ones that are going to define your vision, and they're going to be the ones that determine where you should be. So if you're not careful, then you're going to end up spending your entire life chasing somebody else's dream. So take the time to figure out what it is that you want. Take the time to figure out your goals, your passions, your ambitions, and your dreams. Take the time to figure out what kind of a life it is that you want to live. So get clear on your vision and find the direction that you want to go, and understand that even the smallest of steps, they're going to make these just massive improvements in your life over time. But all of that actually requires action. Think about it. You can have all of the mindset shifts in the world. You can have all of the vision and all of the ambitions in the world, but without action, it's nothing. So you can have the clearest vision in the world. You can be crystal clear on what you're doing, but if you don't take any action, then it's all going to be for naught, and you're going to stay in the exact same place that you are right now. If you think about it, like I talk about manifestation a lot because I truly do believe in it. I believe in manifestation. I know it's possible to do. And people say it all the time that it's woo-woo or it's BS. But if we look at action as making a cake, right? We have all of the ingredients sitting in the cupboard to make a cake at all times. But if you don't throw those together and you don't throw it in the oven, then nothing's ever going to happen. You will not end up with a cake. And if you miss one step in that process, you're not going to have a cake. But if you take the proper steps and you take action, then you're going to have the cake that you want. Life is the same way. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers, and the thing about action is it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out before you start, but you just need to start. Take one step today, make one decision today, because every single action that you take, every single step that you take, it is going to move you closer to the life that you want to live. It is going to move you closer to that vision that you have in your mind. You know, the road out of quiet desperation, it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it. You have to break free from that mindset that's keeping you trapped. You have to break free from those people that are continuously telling you that you need to play it safe. And you have to take control of your life one step at a time, because the world is full of opportunities, but they're not just going to just randomly magically show up in your lap. You have to go get them. So stop running on that damn hamster wheel and stop living a life of quiet desperation, and get out there and build the life of your dreams, the life that you want. Hello. So if you made it this far, do me a favor and go down in the comments section and write that word freedom. Just that one word, freedom. Because when you break free from that life of quiet desperation, you will find freedom. You have to shift your mindset to freedom. You have to be able to get out of that quiet desperation, and you have to stop listening to people that has to be a thing, or that has to be the way that you're going to live, because it's all bullshit. You know, it's funny because it seems like men are the ones that most often get talked about when it comes to living a life of quiet desperation. Almost never are women talked about, and they experience it too. We all do. And it doesn't matter what your gender is, what your race is, what your color is. It doesn't matter. Hello. What matters is that you realize that you don't have to live that. You don't have to be stuck in that hamster wheel, and you don't have to be stuck in that desperation. You have to be able to take control of your mind and the way that you think and who you listen to, and the shit that's programmed into your mind every single day. And I ask for these one-word comments, or these short comments, because they do a couple of things. Because they help. Number one, they help us in a positive way, reprogram our subconscious mind, and get out of the stinking thinking that just about every one of us, just about everybody is experiencing either right now or will experience or has experienced over the course of their lives. And we're all capable of doing that, every single one of us. But we have to remember the power in our words, and we have to realize the power and the capability that we have from learning from our own thoughts, and not realizing that you have the answers. I don't have all the answers, and I don't stand here and make these videos and pretend that I do. But I think that's why a lot of you guys can relate to the videos that I'm creating. But then those one-word comments, they also help the algorithm, because every time somebody likes, comments, and subscribes, then those interactions is exactly what the algorithm wants to see. And when it sees that, then it's going to be more likely to push this content out to other people who might find value in it as well. And if you guys want to support the channel, then I encourage you to go check out our store, pick up some Sweat Talk swag, and our new line of supplements that we've just created, self-made supplements. With that, that's all I got for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I hope you guys are showing up for yourselves, and I hope that each and every one of you guys has a wonderful day. Peace.